lawmakers. We're going to be looking at just some of the, just watching and seeing and waiting for them to actually lay out their proposal and lay out why, for Microsoft, why this doesn't raise anti-competitive concerns.
Amy Schatz, telecommunications reporter with the Wall Street Journal. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
Cord Blomquist, Competitive Enterprise Institute. Do you have anti-competitive, antitrust concerns about this potential buyout?
I don't think there's any reason to really have concerns in this market. The internet marketplace has been so dynamic. When Microsoft was first undergoing its antitrust problems with the FTC, that was when Google was just getting off the ground. They were just seeking investors then. We've seen a company like Facebook go from a dorm room project to a company that's worth as much as Ford Motor Company in just a few years. So I think this market's incredibly competitive, and Microsoft and Yahoo getting together is probably one of the best ways that we can see downward pressure put on Google's prices and see real competition in the online sphere.
Jeff Chester, do you share that viewpoint?
I think this raises serious anti-competitive issues, just as we've seen consolidation in broadcast radio, broadcast television, cable television, and newspapers. And we've been concerned about the declining ability of the news media to perform given this consolidation. We're seeing unprecedented consolidation now in the online market as well. You have Google dominating the key source of income for online advertising and for online content. Microsoft is a distant second, as is Yahoo. What we are going to end up with, I fear, is something that's called a duopoly, two digital global giants who will be able to influence the shape of the digital media for decades to come. Now, part of the problem that's compounded here is that the U.S. Federal Trade Commission approved in December the merger of Google and this other giant firm, DoubleClick, without any safeguards or restrictions, further cementing its leadership position and, in a way, forcing Microsoft to attempt this deal, because right now Google dominates the online advertising business and will for many, many years to come.
Well, what if somebody didn't try to take on Google? Then wouldn't it be a monopoly?
Well, look, there's two sets of issues that we have to look at. First place, I think there are profound issues and questions here. The whole media system is undergoing a very significant transformation. Anybody who has a teenager recognizes that the media is evolving. We're getting it from cell phones and mobile devices and broadband video. So what the media system ends up looking like, whether or not it serves democracy, news, and competition, will, in my view, depend upon what happens to the online advertising market, because that's the key source of revenue for all of content moving forward. You have to look at the competition issues. Will there be a competitive market in online advertising that supports online publishing? But you also have to look at the privacy issues, because ultimately what's being combined here are data sets about you and me, highly detailed profiles that really allow a Google or a Microsoft or a Yahoo to know exactly what our interests are, where we are in the internet, where we are in our cell phones, and then target us with powerful advertisements. So you have to look at those two sets of issues.
And that's part of the privacy issues. But when it comes to the business model here, Cord Blomquist, did you hear anything that Jeff Chester said that you'd like to respond to?
Well, I think that Jeff raises some valid points, but I would take a different interpretation of those. I'd say that Google is empowering lots of new people to come into the content industry. Blogs were something that didn't exist a decade ago. We have YouTube now. There's all sorts of online video, online content sites that are providing people all sorts of new outlets for things. There's things from very specialized media sources, things concentrating on very niche issues, but we also see new online newspapers coming in. The Huffington Post didn't exist a few years ago. We didn't see something like Talking Points Memo. These are new outlets for new voices.
But can I say something? You know, what I fear is, just as with early radio in America and early television and early cable, when the promise of the medium seemed unlimited and the business marketplace had not developed its own rules, once the market matured, all of that early promise, all that democracy, non-commercial programming, that largely disappeared. C-SPAN being sort of one of the last remaining channels on cable that reflect initial promise. I suggest to you very quickly, in this internet era, literally almost 10 years after the internet became a popular medium in the United States, we are quickly down likely to 2